My name is Jarrod Payne, and I'm here today to talk about making math fun, the ways to make math fun in the classroom, and ways for the student and the teachers. And these will help with standardized testing as well as preventing math anxiety. When possible, teachers should make the math classroom as entertaining and as hands-on as possible, because this enhances interest in the subject and it makes math more understandable for the common student. According to Wiseman, the students who they enjoy math, they actually do better on standardized testing. And Brandes, she held a study, and what she did was she took a control group who was doing your normal note taking and your normal, test taking and those kind of things, and she also took a group who was an experimental group, and what they did was they dealt with manipulatives and those kind of things. And there was actually an increase in achievement with the experimental group, and as well as they did better on standardized testing. First, I'll talk about manipulatives. These are hands-on activities and they're games that are used to enhance the learning environment. They're meant to make it more fun, like dice or flashcards or probability type things with a deck of cards. Studies show that the students that use this, they typically outperform those who do not use manipulatives, so it's actually definitely a handy thing. It was shown in the same study that manipulatives give students a better verbal intercourse. They speak better, they communicate better with their fellow students, and they also have a more positive outlook on math. And this was by Patricia Moyer. That's where I got this information. Math anxiety. Ashcroft describes math anxiety as a problem that students develop when they have a fear of mathematics, basically when they dread going to math class. Research shows that math anxiousness leads to less math competence, and they just don't perform as well on math. They have lower understanding, lower scores on standardized tests. He was actually talking about in this study, there were some students that got so stressed out over the math test that they start crying and pulling out their hair literally, and it was definitely a stressful thing for some people. So that's why I feel like math should be made as fun as possible to avoid this math anxiety. Students with math anxiety tend to struggle. The typical, take notes and do an assessment type strategy, I feel like this stresses the students out even more than they necessarily have to be. And there are many ways to make math more fun. This is not, an urban myth, like it can't be done. It can be done. Some ways that I looked at, Donaldson described a geometry scavenger hunt, which this was basically, he had a pre-lesson, he talked about a pre-lesson that the teacher would hold and describe, basic geometric shapes and those kind of things, and then they went out within the school or within the town and identified geometric shapes. TV game shows such as $25,000 Pyramid or Deal or No Deal, these were described by Reinhold, and they basically, you can use game shows to have more fun with math, and who wouldn't enjoy doing that? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Jeopardy, things like that. You can always incorporate math into these games, the lesson that the teacher is teaching at that time, and it would actually, definitely be enjoying. Recipes or room designs for fractions, measurements, those kind of things. Obviously, that'd be a good thing. A good math-related movie. I was reading this was Reinhold, I'm sorry, the previous was Iams, but I was reading from Reinhold that there was many math movies such as Straw Dogs and Big. These aren't necessarily movies about math, but they have certain scenes within the movie that actually, describe a math scene very well. So if there was something that related to the topic you were teaching, obviously students wouldn't mind, watching a movie. And there's many, many more. So the conclusion that I've drawn is that the math classroom should be made more fun and more enjoyable whenever possible. It should be a fun environment. It shouldn't be something that students dread or do not look forward to. Manipulative should be used, fun math activities to prevent math anxiety, and these will usually improve standardized tests or performance within the math classroom in general, and also give them a better feel for math, and they won't have to dread it as much. And this is my works cited.